Welcome to my channel, Value Old Coins. Today videos is one you won't to miss. We're diving into the world of coins. So let's get it started. The 1982 United States quarter dollar, bearing the inscriptions, United States of America, e pluribus, unum, quarter dollar, liberty, and in God we trust, as well as the prominent mint mark P for the Philadelphia Mint, stands as an important representative of the Washington Quarter series during a transitional period in American coinage. This particular coin, struck in the year 1982, belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, depicts the familiar bust of the first president of the United States, George Washington, facing left on the obverse side. Washington's portrait is rendered in a neoclassical style, meant to emphasize dignity and national pride, while the word liberty arcs prominently above his head. Just to the left of the portrait, the motto, "In God we trust," is engraved, reaffirming America's reliance on faith as a guiding principle. The date, 1982, appears directly beneath Washington's profile, and on coins struck in Philadelphia that year, a small but distinct P mint mark is visible just to the right of the ribbon in Washington's hair, a detail of great importance to numismatists, since it represents one of the earliest years that the Philadelphia Mint began placing its mint mark on circulating quarters. The reverse design of the 1982 quarter continues the motif used since the inception of the Washington quarter, with an eagle at its center, wings outstretched in a posture of vigilance and authority. The eagle grasps a bundle of arrows in its talons, a powerful symbol of national defense and preparedness, while an olive branch is positioned beneath, reminding all who view the coin of America's pursuit of peace. Encircling the design is the inscription, United States of America, at the top, with the traditional motto, E pluribus unum, just beneath it, Latin for out of many one, a phrase signifying the unity of the American states into a single nation. At the bottom, the denomination is clearly stated as quarter dollar, affirming the coin's value as 25 cents. The artistry of the reverse is balanced, symmetrical, and intended to reinforce American ideals of both strength and peace, traits that made the Washington Quarter one of the most widely respected and recognized coins in circulation during the 20th century. From a technical perspective, the 1982 P Washington Quarter was struck in cupro nickel-clad composition, a material standard introduced in 1965 when the United States Mint removed silver from its circulating quarters due to rising costs and silver shortages. This composition consists of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, producing a coin with a total weight of 5.67 grams, a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge. The coin's metallic composition produces the characteristic silvery gray surface with a subtle copper hue sometimes visible on the edges due to the exposed copper core. Unlike earlier silver Washington quarters, which possessed a distinctive, ringing sound when dropped, the clad quarters like the 1982 P are notably duller in tone, a difference easily detected by experienced collectors. This change was not only practical for economic reasons, but also represented a new era in American coinage, one less reliant on precious metals and more centered on affordability and sustainability. One of the most notable facts about the 1982 P Washington Quarter is that it was struck during a year when the U.S. Mint did not produce any official uncirculated mint sets or proof sets for collectors. The absence of these sets in both 1982 and 1983 meant that many coins from these years entered circulation directly and saw immediate heavy use by the public. As a result, finding well-preserved mint-state 1982 P quarters today is significantly more challenging than with most other modern issues. This scarcity of high-grade examples has driven strong interest among numismatists and collectors, making coins from 1982 especially prized in certified uncirculated condition. Circulated examples, however, are common, as millions were produced and used heavily in everyday commerce across the country. In terms of mintage figures, the Philadelphia Mint produced an estimated 531,000 Washington quarters in 1982, making it a high production issue, consistent with the nation's growing reliance on coinage for daily transactions. Despite this large number, the wear and tear of circulation, combined with the lack of mint sets, has meant that many examples show heavy use, with Washington's hair details, the eagle's feathering, and the reading on the coin's edge becoming quickly smoothed down through daily handling. Collectors looking for sharp, lustrous, uncirculated 1982 P quarters must therefore search diligently, often relying on rolls or bags saved by forward-thinking individuals at the time of issue. From a collectible standpoint, the 1982 P quarter occupies a fascinating place in American numismatics. While common in circulated grades, it becomes increasingly desirable in higher levels of preservation, such as Mint State 65, MS-65, and above. Coins graded in MS-67 or better are considered rare and command significant premiums on the market. Strike quality can vary, with some examples showing weak details in Washington's hair or the eagle's wings, making fully struck coins with sharp detail all the more attractive to collectors. Additionally, the 1982 P is sometimes encountered, with minor die varieties such as doubled dies or repunched mint marks, though these are relatively scarce and often require magnification to identify. Historically, the coin represents more than just a $quarter piece. It reflects the economic and political atmosphere of the early 1980s. At this time, the United States was undergoing significant economic challenges, including inflation, recession, and changes in monetary policy. The reliance on clad coinage underscored the government's effort to stabilize production costs while maintaining a stable coin supply for commerce. Furthermore, the Washington quarter itself had already been in circulation for half a century, by 1982, making it a design that had transcended its original commemorative purpose and become a mainstay of American daily life. For the American public, the 1982 P quarter was not merely a collectible, it was a familiar, trusted instrument of trade used for everything from vending machines and bus fares to daily purchases in an era before widespread digital payments. For numismatists, the 1982 P quarter is remembered today as a key modern issue, one that highlights the importance of preservation and foresight. Collectors often note that because there were no mint sets or proof sets available that year, those who saved rolls of 1982 quarters preserved a valuable piece of numismatic history for future generations. The absence of these official collector products elevated the desirability of the coin decades later, making it a perfect example of how ordinary circulation coins can gain significance over time due to historical circumstances. In summary, the 1982 P Washington quarter is a coin that combines historical symbolism, artistic heritage, and numismatic importance. With its classic John Flanagan portrait of George Washington, its heraldic eagle reverse, and its inscriptions proclaiming liberty, trust in God, national unity, and American identity, it stands as both a utilitarian object of commerce and a collectible artifact of the early 1980s. Its clad composition, massive mintage, and circulation patterns tell a story of economic adaptation, while its scarcity and high-grade condition ensures its continued appeal to serious collectors. Whether encountered in a well-worn, circulated state or in the gleaming brilliance of mint condition, the 1982 P quarter represents a fascinating chapter in the enduring saga of U.S. coinage. The 1983 P United States Washington quarter dollar, bearing the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, Quarter Dollar, Liberty, and In God We Trust, stands as a significant issue in modern U.S. numismatics. Like its predecessors, this coin follows the design traditions of the Washington Quarter series that began in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. On the obverse, we see the enduring bust of Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, which had, by 1983, already been in circulation for more than 50 years. His portrait faces left, with a solemn and dignified profile designed to project the image of a strong, fatherly leader. Above the portrait arcs the word liberty, while to the left of Washington's neck appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," an enduring reminder of the nation's reliance on faith as a guiding principle. Beneath the bust, the year 1983 is boldly displayed, anchoring the coin in its historical period, while to the right of the ribbon tying Washington's hair rests the mint mark P, indicating the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The inclusion of the Philadelphia Mint mark, which only began appearing on quarters in 1980, makes this detail particularly significant for collectors who recognize it as part of a relatively modern development in U.S. coinage history. The reverse side of the 1983 P quarter features the traditional heraldic eagle design, also crafted by John Flanagan. The eagle, an enduring emblem of American power and sovereignty, spreads its wings in a poised yet vigilant posture, gripping a bundle of arrows in its talons. These arrows are symbolic of America's readiness to defend itself against any foe, while beneath them rests an olive branch, emblematic of peace. Above the eagle is the Latin motto "A pluribus unum," translated as "out of many, one," a phrase that has served as a unifying national creed since the earliest years of the Republic. Surrounding the eagle are the words "United," States of America at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom, boldly affirming both national identity and monetary denomination. The artistry of the reverse design emphasizes balance, patriotism, and clarity of message, and though some critics have described Flanagan's eagle as somewhat plain compared to other numismatic depictions of the bird, the design remains an iconic fixture of mid-20th century American coinage. From a technical standpoint, the 1983 P quarter is struck in the standard clad composition that had been adopted in 1965 to replace silver in circulating quarters. The coin is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, specifically an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its familiar silvery surface with a faint reddish copper edge visible when viewed from the side. Each coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge. These specifications ensured uniformity with quarters from previous years, making them interchangeable in circulation and in coin-operated machines. The clad composition, though lacking the intrinsic precious metal value of earlier silver quarters, proved durable and practical for daily use, helping coins withstand the rigors of decades of handling. By 1983, this composition had been in use for nearly 20 years and had become fully accepted by the public as standard U.S. coinage. A particularly important historical and numismatic fact about the 1983 P Washington quarter is its production. During a year when the U.S. Mint once again did not issue official mint sets or proof sets for collectors. Just as in 1982, the Mint suspended these special issues, which were usually the primary source of high-quality, uncirculated coins for the numismatic community. As a result, virtually all 1983 quarters entered circulation directly, meaning that the overwhelming majority of surviving examples are heavily worn from use. This absence of collector-grade coins from government packaging has made the 1983 P one of the most challenging modern Washington quarters to obtain in superb uncirculated condition. Collectors often stress that 1982 and 1983 quarters form a duo of scarcity in high grade, not because the mintages were low, but because the lack of official collector products ensured that most coins endured circulation abuse before anyone thought to save them. Speaking of mintage figures, the Philadelphia Mint struck an estimated 673,535,000 Washington quarters in 1983, a huge number by traditional standards. Yet, despite this massive production, the condition scarcity remains the defining feature of this issue. In circulated grades, the 1983p is extremely common and easily found in pocket change even today, as hundreds of millions of these coins remain active in commerce. However, in higher grades, particularly Mint State 65, MS 65 and above, the coin becomes scarce, and in MS 67 or better, it is genuinely rare. Strike quality is another concern with the 1983p issue, as many examples were struck with worn dies or insufficient pressure, leading to weak details on Washington's hair curls or on the eagle's feathering. For collectors seeking a sharply struck, lustrous coin, patience and discernment are required. From a numismatic perspective, the 1983p Washington quarter highlights the unpredictable nature of modern coin collecting. While many other dates, of the 1970s and 1980s, are readily available in pristine condition thanks to mint sets, the absence of such products in 1983 has turned an otherwise ordinary circulation issue into a notable collector challenge. This dynamic illustrates a broader truth. Numismatic value is not solely determined by rarity of mintage, but often by the circumstances of distribution and survival. Coins like the 1983p that were overlooked at the time of issue can later become semi-key pieces when collectors realize how few pristine examples survived. Today, third-party grading services such as PCGS and NGC report relatively few 1983p quarters certified in top condition, which further cements the issue's reputation as a sleeper rarity of the modern clad era. Historically, the 1983p quarter also reflects the economic climate of early 1980s America. This was a period marked by recovery from the severe recession of 1981 to 1982, high interest rates, and shifting consumer behaviors. Coins like the quarter remained central to everyday transactions, particularly in an era when cash and coins dominated vending machines, payphones, transportation systems, and countless small purchases. For millions of Americans, the 1983 quarter was not a collectible, but a vital unit of commerce, a reminder of how deeply coinage was woven into daily life before the digital payment revolution. In this sense, the coin embodies the intersection of practicality and heritage, carrying Washington's image into the hands of every citizen during a transformative decade. For modern collectors, assembling a set of Washington quarters that includes a high-grade 1983p is considered both a challenge and a badge of accomplishment. The coin is common enough in circulated grades to be easily accessible to beginners, but securing one in certified gem condition often requires dedication and a willingness to pay a premium. Prices for top-grade examples can be surprisingly high compared to surrounding years, demonstrating the power of collector demand shaped by distribution quirks. Additionally, enthusiasts often search for die varieties, such as doubled dies or die cracks, which occasionally appear on 1983 quarters but remain relatively scarce. These varieties add an extra layer of intrigue for specialists who enjoy the hunt for hidden anomalies within an otherwise common coin. In conclusion, the 1983p Washington quarter is a fascinating coin that illustrates the interplay of history, design, economics, and numismatics. Its obverse portrait of George Washington continues a tradition of honoring America's first president, while its reverse eagle conveys both national strength and the pursuit of peace. Its clad composition speaks to the practical needs of the late 20th century mint, and its high mintage reflects the coin's essential role in the everyday life of millions of Americans. Yet, the absence of official mint sets in 1983 has elevated this coin's significance for collectors, transforming what might have been a forgettable issue into one of the most sought-after modern Washington quarters in top condition. To hold a 1983p quarter today is to connect with a moment in American history when coins still reigned supreme in commerce, when preservation was overlooked, and when the forces of chance ensured that future collectors would treasure what most people spent without a second thought. The 1966 United States Washington quarter, with United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, $quarter, Liberty, and In God We Trust, occupies a unique and transitional position in the long history of American coinage. It belongs to the Washington Quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Sculptor John Flanagan's design, chosen over several competing entries, would endure as the definitive image of America's first president on the nation's 25-cent coin for decades. The obverse of the 1966 quarter presents Washington's left-facing bust, a dignified and neoclassical portrait meant to symbolize patriotism, authority, and enduring leadership. Above his head arches the word liberty, while the motto, "In God We Trust," rests just to the left of his chin, reaffirming the nation's spiritual and civic principles. At the bottom, beneath the truncation of Washington's neck, lies the date 1966, anchoring the coin in one of the most turbulent decades in American history. Notably absent from the obverse, however, is a mint mark, a detail that defines the 1965-1967 quarters, as the U.S. Mint intentionally omitted mint marks during this period to discourage hoarding by collectors and speculators. The reverse of the coin continues the familiar eagle motif that had become synonymous with the Washington quarter since its inception. At the center, the American bald eagle, wings spread wide in a vigilant stance, grips a bundle of arrows in its talons. These arrows are a time-honored symbol of national defense, emphasizing the country's readiness to protect its freedoms. Below the eagle rests an olive branch, a counterbalance symbol representing peace. This juxtaposition of arrows and olive branch reflects the American philosophy of being prepared for conflict, yet striving for peace whenever possible. Surrounding the central motif are inscriptions that reinforce the coin's identity and national values. United States of America arcs along the top rim, with the motto E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one, just beneath it. Along the bottom, the denomination quarter dollar is spelled out in full, making clear its monetary value. The simplicity and symmetry of this reverse design gave the Washington quarter a timeless quality, making it instantly recognizable to millions of Americans who carried it in their pockets daily. One of the most important aspects of the 1966 Washington quarter is its composition. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the United States Mint had eliminated silver from the quarter's alloy in response to rising silver prices, which had threatened the continued circulation of coins. Before 1965, quarters were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving them intrinsic value beyond their face value. But as silver prices climbed, many Americans began hoarding silver coins, leading to shortages in circulation. To resolve this problem, the Mint introduced a new clad composition consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition, weighing 5.67 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge, became the standard for all quarters moving forward. The 1966 quarter is thus among the earliest examples of this modern-clad coinage, a striking departure from the long tradition of precious metal coinage in the United States. Its duller sound when dropped, and the visible copper edge when viewed from the side, distinguished it from its silver predecessors, signaling a profound change in American money. The omission of mint marks on the 1966 quarter was not an accident, but a deliberate policy of the U.S. Mint during the years 1965, 1966, and 1967. This was the height of the coin shortage crisis, when Americans were hoarding coins not only for their silver content, but also out of speculation that certain mint marks would become valuable rarities. To discourage this practice and ensure coins were used for commerce rather than stored away, the Mint removed all mint marks during these years. Consequently, all 1966 quarters look identical, regardless of whether they were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. This lack of mint marks makes the 1966 quarter somewhat unusual in the Washington series, since nearly all other dates can be distinguished by their place of origin. For numismatists, This was both frustrating and fascinating as it made the precise distribution of coins by mint a mystery, while also highlighting the mint's attempt to control the psychology of the collecting public. In terms of mintage, the 1966 Washington quarter saw an enormous production run, reflecting the mint's efforts to flood the economy with new clad coinage to ease shortages. A staggering 821 101 500 quarters were struck in 1966, one of the largest mintages of its time. With so many produced, circulated examples of the 1966 quarter are extremely common, even today. Millions remain in use across the United States, though most show significant wear from nearly 6 decades of circulation. The sheer quantity of coins struck in 1966 underscores the national urgency of the coin shortage and the mint's determination to restore confidence in the new clad coinage system. From a collector's standpoint, the 1966 quarter is intriguing, precisely because of its paradoxical nature. While common in lower grades, high-quality examples are much scarcer than one might expect. This scarcity arises from the fact that the mint did not issue traditional proof sets or mint sets in 1966. Instead, it produced a special product called the Special Mint Set, SMS, which contained coins struck with greater care than normal circulation, pieces but not to the same mirror-like quality as proofs. These SMS quarters, distinguishable by their sharper details and satin-like finish, are highly prized by collectors today, as they represent the only official mint product for that year. Meanwhile, circulation strikes from 1966 are often found, with weak strikes, bag marks, or dull luster, making gem-quality examples, graded mint state 65 and above, more difficult to locate than the high mintage would suggest. In top grades, the coin commands notable premiums, while SMS specimens offer an attractive option for those assembling high-quality Washington quarter collections. The 1966 Washington quarter also reflects the broader cultural and economic context of mid-1960s America. This was a decade of dramatic social change, political unrest, and economic uncertainty. The removal of silver from American coinage in 1965 symbolized a shift in national priorities as economic practicality began to outweigh tradition. For many Americans, the new clad coins initially felt lighter, less valuable, and even cheap compared to their silver predecessors, leading to criticism and reluctance to accept them. Over time, however, the public adjusted, and the 1966 quarter became an everyday companion in commerce, whether used for payphones, jukeboxes, bus fares, or groceries. Its circulation connected it to countless personal experiences and cultural milestones of the late 1960s, embedding it deeply into the fabric of daily American life. In numismatic terms, the 1966 quarter teaches an important lesson about survival, preservation, and collector demand. Because so few were saved in pristine condition at the time of issue, and because SMS coins were the only alternative to circulation strikes, the coin has become far more interesting to collectors than its high mintage numbers suggest. Condition rarity plays a crucial role in its desirability, with superb uncirculated examples being surprisingly scarce. Furthermore, the coin stands as one of the earliest representatives of America's clad coinage era, making it historically significant for anyone studying the evolution of U.S. currency. For variety collectors, the 1966 quarter offers occasional die errors, doubled dies, and other minting anomalies, though these are relatively rare compared to other series. In summary, the 1966 United States Washington quarter is far more than just an ordinary piece of pocket change. It symbolizes a turning point in American coinage, the transition from silver to clad, from mint-marked to non-mint-marked coins, and from traditional collecting patterns to a new era of uncertainty. Its obverse immortalizes George Washington as a symbol of leadership and liberty, while its reverse reminds Americans of strength balanced by peace. Its clad composition speaks to the practical needs of the nation during the coin shortage crisis. and its massive mintage reflects the mint's determination to restore circulation. For collectors, the coin offers both challenges and opportunities. It is plentiful in worn grades, but scarce in gem condition, with SMS issues providing an additional layer of appeal. To hold a 1966 quarter today is to hold a piece of American history at a crossroads, when old traditions gave way to new realities, and when a single 25-cent coin told a story of economic adaptation, cultural change, and enduring national identity. Would you like me to also create a comparison of the 1965, 1966, and 1967 quarters as a set? They are often grouped together because of their shared clad composition, lack of mint marks, and role in the coin shortage crisis. That way, you'd get the complete picture of this transitional era.